Hi, I'm Real Generic Demon, and today we're going to be discussing this thing. Okay, so we're back with the C64. This is the full version. This is the full keyboard version. So it's not the Mini, which is what we got. I think it was last year we got the Mini, or the year before we got the Mini, which is this little fella. This is the full-size keyboard. This is the full working Commodore and VIC-20 version of it. It actually says it down the bottom here, if you can see that there. So that's that, VIC-20. It actually includes games for the VIC-20, but I can only count 2 on the whole thing. So, quick whiz around the box. We've got, obviously there, we've got a few screenshots of the various things that are actually on there. A sort of rundown of the connectors from the HDMI to, I've got to use the glasses now, HDMI and the USBs that are on there, and the various other buttons like the on and off switch. On the side we have features, which includes the save states, choosing display modes, the filters, so you can put the CRT filters on. I don't found them particularly useful. I don't know about you, but I always just like pixel perfect. I think that's just a kind of a modern day preference. So we got that on that side, and on the other side, what have we got? Oh, what it includes? It includes the full size computer, the new microswitch joystick, which is going to be a definite benefit. So that's on that side there. And there's a little bit down the bottom here, which is kind of basically licenses down the bottom there. And then on the top, we've got that. So let's just, without further ado, let's get this thing opened. So let's open this and let's show you what we've got in here. So there we go. There's our box with our bits and pieces in. It's very nicely packed. The C64 Mini was very nicely packed as well. Little plastic cover to protect it. It's even got little risers on it so that you can't push the cardboard down too high. So I'll put that on the floor there. And then we have our C64, the full version. So I'm going to pull that out of there. Now this is based on the what's called bread bin design, because it kind of looks like a bread bin. A very British thing, that, I think, to be honest with you. We've got our buttons on the side. We've got our HDMI on this side here, and then we've got the keyboard, which kind of feels a bit like a Commodore keyboard to me, because I have a couple of the C64 C versions, the compact versions, and it feels very much like that. Somebody can explain, by the way, how I get F2 with only these number of buttons, because I couldn't work out what I was going to do with that. I'm sure it's probably simple, like pressing Shift key and pressing it to get an F2. Anyway, but yeah, so that's the keyboard itself. I actually quite like that. I mean, let's get the other one back in for comparison there. Quite like the feel there. I mean, this is just painted on at the end of the day, this one, and obviously they don't do anything. Very similar sort of layout. You know, more USBs. There's 4 on this one. There's only 2 on the Mini. Very good and weighty. You can know for a fact that they've weighted it down. There's weight in there, because to be fair, it'll be a tiny circuit board wrapping around the edge of here. Nothing more than that. So it won't be anything more exciting. There's a bit of venting as well going on along here, but I think that's probably the original design rather than anything else. So that's the C64 itself. Alright, so let's have a look at what else is in the box. We've got another bit in the box, which is, I'll just pick it up off the floor. Always difficult to do this. So we've got the other bit of the box. I do like the way that they've done this. It's very neat. And in here, not quite as presented the same as the C64 Mini. We've got our joystick, our new joystick, which is there. And we'll get to that in a second. So I'll just pop that up there. We have. I was quite surprised to see this actually in this next bit, because I didn't have a little look through the box before I'd done it. I haven't actually plugged it in yet and played it, but I've got that. So I'm just going to drop that on the floor. We've got the quick guide to it. One of the things that I found in the quick guide, it's got the English, it's got disposal of, warranties, and all the other bits and pieces that go with it. I did actually quite like, though, that there was an advert for other games that you could buy and download, which I thought was quite nice actually. It's like a little poster in the centre there. If you can still buy games, you see, little poster. I thought it was quite nice because they did actually feature this game, which was called They did feature one of the games by these guys on the C64 Mini. It was like a bonus extra, and I believe that the update or the firmware update for the C64 Mini at the moment gives you another game, which is quite nice. Yeah, a little getting started. Very nice. Simple stuff. Looks nice as well. It's to match the styling, obviously, of the Commodore 64. That's very nice. But this is the bit that surprised me. This is what I didn't expect, actually, because the C64 Mini doesn't come with a power source. However, he says an HDMI cable. Obviously, your micro USB to power it, and quite to my surprise, we actually have a power adapter. So that's you don't normally get those nowadays. So I was quite surprised by that, actually. That did surprise me. So let's get to the joystick. So this is our joystick, and if you listen, oh yeah, oh wow, yeah, that's good. It's lovely. It's clicky. The fire buttons, I don't think they are micro switched fire buttons. They could be. They could be. So there's all the various buttons that go along the same thing. It's the same joystick. Oh well, I say same joystick. No, it's been a redesigned joystick from the original one. But I tell you what a difference that's going to be to the games. The Competition Pro sort of that it was based on. It's a little softer actually. It is like the original joystick, but there was a lot of complaints about it. And this has got some real. You can tell. You can make some real positive moves on it. When I saw it the first time, I was elated because I think that the original joystick's a bit naff. Now I've got the original joystick out as an example. It's a shame though that they've changed the colouring though, because it's no longer the red one. But there's no noise. It's kind of. They've definitely changed the fire buttons. They're definitely different as well. They're definitely a different. Yeah, there's definitely a micro switch in the fire button as well. That's much better. But yeah, the joysticks themselves, they look almost identical. Just looking at the thickness, I don't know if it's slightly. I think the micro switch one, if you have a little look as well, is slightly thicker. I think it's slightly taller on the top. Maybe it's an optical illusion. I don't know. I think it's slightly taller on the top, but yeah, very good. Much better than the original one. It's a bit of a shame that the original one was such a bit of a letdown. There was lag originally as well, which is more to do, I think, with the output from the whole thing than anything else. So we had a bit of a lag in the original one. So, but yeah, definitely. Oh, well, that's one of the key changes there. I'm dying to try the keyboard as well. I think the keyboard's really going to be a plus for the whole thing. I think the keyboard's going to be. Yeah, I think the keyboard's going to be good because I think one of the big problems is you can map the keys on the joystick, but the keyboard, just being able to push that's going to be good. Right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to sort of stop it here, and we're going to fire this up and have a little look at the actual games and the menu and the interface. I don't expect it to be much different from the C64 Mini. However, we might see if we can have a little look at the VIC-20 ones. I'm quite excited to see the VIC-20 because the VIC-20 has a different palette to the Commodore 64. One of my as a non-Commodore 64 user back in the day, I always find the palette very pastel, and I know that there was an awful lot of effort made to make it with this sort of smooth sort of palette that was there, but the VIC-20 I'm told is a much brighter, more vibrant palette, so I'm quite looking forward to that. So without further messing around, let's bung this on. Right, so we're at the startup. This is what you get when you first boot up. There's actually a nice the C64 screen that comes up first, but this is what you get when you first start up your new the 64 or the C64. Sorry, I don't know what's its official title because people call it like the Maxi and the full keyboard and things like that. I don't know what the official titles are. Anyway, so you get your languages obviously. So you've got your Dutch, your Spanish, your French, your Italian, and your English. So we're going to select that, but it's all by the joystick. You can't press the return key. I was expecting to be able to press that. In fact, it makes funny noises when you do that, so we don't do that. So you press it on there. I'm going to go with the 60 Hz output because my TV is capable of doing that, and it checks and it works, and there we go. And then you press the A button again on the joystick to accept. You can't. Can you press it on the keyboard? Oh, you can press it on the keyboard. Now, this is the part that I thought was quite interesting. So, I've already turned this on once just to check through, and then this part caught me out. I was like, oh, wow. So, what we have here is we've got the carousel, which is what was standard to the C64 Mini, and then we've got Classic, and Classic basically starts you in as a Commodore 64 or a VIC-20. I thought that was kind of cool. So we'll go with the carousel though to begin with, because that's what we know. So we'll go with the carousel, and then we'll whiz through the games. So we'll have a little look and see what's different. So we've got Alley Cat, that was on the original 64 Mini. So was Anarchy. This one I think is new, the Attack of the Mutant Camels. In fact, there's quite a lot of Llama Soft or Jeff Minter software on here. Avenger was there originally. Battle Valley was as well. Quite a good game, that one. I like that one. Bear Vova. I don't know what this is. I think that's the one I didn't Bear Bova. Yeah, I don't know what this one is. I've not played that one before. It's a new one on me. Good old Boulder Dash. Bounder. California Games. Chips Challenge. Confusion. Cosmic Causeway. Not one of my favourites, but it's on there. Cyberdyne. Warrior. That's still on there. Sorry about the dog in the background. It is a bit daft, unfortunately. Right, Cybernoid 2. That's a classic. Cybernoid's a really good game. It's very good on almost all platforms. So we got Deflector. Then we've got Destroyer. Now I think this appeared on the American version of the C64 Mini, not the UK version. We've got Everyone's a Wally. Firelord, all of these have been there before. This is one that you got with your C64 Mini if you bother to update. This is, I can't even pronounce it. I'm not even going to tell you. It's just basically a Gallagher clone type thing. Very good, actually. Modern day game. This is the same people who have put the Proto Vision, which is the same people who put the advert into the manual that we saw earlier. This is, I think this one's new, but I'm not sure. Not sure about that one. Gribbly's Day Out. Grid Runner, this is definitely different. This is Jeff Minter, and this is the VIC-20. Now, as I said before, quite excited to see that, because if you notice already, you can tell by the just flipping backwards and forwards, the much brighter colour palette. I'm dying to see that on the VIC-20 version of that. We've got Heartlands, Hero Botex, Highway. This is a new one as well, another Jeff Minter game. Hover Bother. Botherer. Good old Mission Impossible Mission, very good games. IO, very good shoot 'em up. This one's a new one as well, Jeff Minter again. I don't know if this is a VIC-20 game. It looks like it could be, actually. Possibly. Jumpman, that was on the previous one. Mega Apocalypse there as well. Mission AD. Probably the worst version of Monty Mole ever created. I don't know why. It's horrible. It should be like this one, which is Monty on the Run, but it's not. It's like that. It was must have been created in complete separation. And I got to admit, I'm not a big fan of the Commodore 64 version of Monty Mole. Pretty horrible. Nebulous, great game, and proper arcade again. Netherworld, the Nodes of Yesod. Paradroid, now this is something I need to revisit because everybody says this is really good and you can upgrade your robots and whatever else it is. I do need to try that one. Pit Stop 2, good racing game. Planet of Death. Now this is a text adventure, so we're going to give that one a try, definitely, because we need to see what that one's like against the whole thing. Another Jeff Minter game called Psychedelia. Ranarama. Robin of the Wood. Silicon Warrior, that wasn't on the previous one. It may have been on the US version. Skate Crazy, Speedball 2, Spin Dizzy, one of the hardest games you'll ever play. This one, a Steel. I like this Steel. It's very much. I just like the robot. It reminds me of the Black Hole, the Disney cartoon Black Hole. Oh, cartoon, Disney live action. Very good movie actually. It needs a remake or needs an extension or something anyway, because they go through a black hole at the end of it. It's cool. Street Sports Basketball, Summer Games, Super Cycle. That's really good. Super Cycle. This is another one I think's new. This Sword of Fargol. This was on there before, the trilogy. The Ark of Yesod.
Hall of Fame. This is where everybody is listed who was involved with the bringing this thing to life. Thing Bounces Back, not one of my favourites. Thing on a String, again, not one of my favourites, but they're there. They were on the original one. Trailblazer, I prefer this to Cosmic Causeway, but it's not one of my faves. Uridium, brilliant game. Who Dares Wins 2, great on the Commodore 64. Winter Games, World Games, and Synapse. Now, we'll go through the other menus as well, so now back to the beginning of Alley Cat. We're going to go through the menus at the moment. So we got... This is the Pixel Perfect, European Pixel Perfect, 4x3, 4x3. So it's the aspect ratio, effectively, on the screen. And then you've got it as Pixel Perfect and European and North American. It's absolutely fine. Languages, not very more to say about that. Now, this is the interesting part. We got the model of the piece, of the Commodore. You can choose. It's kind of like the default mode for when it starts, or default model. It kind of lets you choose which is which. You've got boot mode. This chooses between the classic and the carousel. That's useful too. Legal notices. Obviously, it's what licenses and what IP they've got and who owns what and this, that, and the other. System information. This is where you do your firmware updates if you've got one plugged in via the USB. And this is the one that I found most interesting. So apart from these shutdowns and whatever else, power factory reset, self-explanatory. Shutdown device shuts the device down. This one, switch to classic mode. When we switch to classic mode, we're at a Commodore screen, and we can just get on with it as if we were putting something in. Print hello. Just type away as if we were using an actual Commodore. Now, the advantage of this, though, of course, is you've still got the old access to the States, but you can do media access as well. And because I've got a USB stick in it, you can actually load into the drive, into either the cartridge slot, or tape slot, or the disk drive, depending on what you've got, into those drives. So you can choose a game to load into the drive. So it's there. Now, I can't remember how you load it, because it's load something or other, isn't it? It's load star 8 something, is it? Am I right? Star... Can't remember. Where's the star key? There it is, star... Is it 8? Comma 8? Is that it? I can't remember. I'm sorry, I don't know enough about the Commodore to do it. But basically, you can load the media and load it back again. I thought that was kind of a nice touch, actually. If we go back to the options, we can select the device. And I'm going to change this into a VIC-20. So we'll go back, and then back, and it resets, and we're a VIC-20. Isn't that good? I've done something weird there, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Print it to hello. Hello. Some errors in the data. So you can become the VIC-20. I think that's quite a nice functionality. Maybe it's just me, but I think that's really nice. I like that. I like that feel of being able to swap between the two and just basically choose a computer. So anyway, we'll go back to the carousel and we'll have a quick go on one of these games. I think we'll go with Synapse because we really need to test out the joystick, because it's now a sort of a new and improved joystick. There we go. Oh, what a difference that makes. Such a positive input against what it was. That's a much... Yeah. Oh, apart from I can't fly the ship. That's so much more positive. It just feels good. You can hear me clicking away with it as well, I think. But yeah, that is nice feel to it. There we go. Go a little bit further. No, that looks good, doesn't it? It feels good as well, which is really important. I think that's one of the things about the previous joystick was just... I think it was very close to the original Competition Pro, if I'm brutally honest, but this is just a much more comfortable joystick. I really like it. That really works well. One of the things I did find odd, though, if I push the menu button now before I die, is you've obviously got the load and save states. That's quite good, though, if you want to sort of, save where you're at. Fantastic ability to do that. But you've also got the virtual keyboard still in here for some reason. But I guess that's probably because it's a mini at the end of the day. It's still a mini, so you still have that there. Okay, let's exit the game. And let's find a VIC-20 game, because I'm dying to try one of these ones out with the different colours. Oh, tell you what, we must stop here. This is the 2017 game. It was very impressive, really good. And you can press F1 for options. Look at that. So he actually does do the. Wow. Wow, you can change the colour of the palette. High score, tournament mode on, difficulty. Oh, brilliant. See, that was pressing F1 on the keyboard as well. How brilliant is that? So press fire, and we get into our little ship. I like this because it's really well done. So our little man gets into the ship. There he goes. And we blast into outer space. Hooray! Good luck with the waves of enemies. And there you go. What a great little shoot 'em up this is. Worth the update. You know, now you get 65 games on the C64 Mini, and of course with an additional one being available this Christmas when you do the update, that's 66 games, which is quite good. Game over. Great stuff. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, so I'll exit the game. So that's the modern new one that's there, Grid Runner. This is the Jeff Grid Runner game 8. Here we go. And you can see the difference in palette. It's a much brighter palette. The idea is to destroy the creatures before they hit the bottom of the screen and kill you like that. Because it's a grid. It's basically Centipede, or very similar to Centipede. Oh, blown up! Damn. Plays fine. I'm looking forward to trying some of the VIC-20 games. Is the VIC-20 a bit of an anomaly in the Commodore range? It feels like it is, because there's a Commodore 16, isn't there, as well? Was this like the stopgap between the 64? I guess it must have been. A lot of the cartridge stuff was the big thing for it, wasn't it? Oh, I'm dead. I think there's one. Nope, not one left. Very fast. Extremely fast. Grid zapped. Must be on the next one. Yeah, it's alright actually. It's not bad at all. I mean, in comparison to the other, as I say, comparison to the normal sort of pastel palette, it's quite a bright palette, that one. It's quite loud and leery, you know, the purples there and the reds and the greens, very sharp and very loud. But yeah, no, very good indeed. I'm going to try the USB stick that I put in. This is the one I use in my C64 Mini, and I think I'll give that a quick try. I mean, there are some massive advantages, obviously, to having a full keyboard, and we need to try the keyboard game as well. One of which is I can press the spacebar there, where I would normally have to bring up the virtual keyboard, press the spacebar on there, and continue on that way. So there are some huge advantages to be able to actually push the buttons as you go along. Just wait for it to load. There we go. And then spacebar again. And then spacebar to start the game. So, and then enter, and then enter to start. It's brilliant. So here we go. I can't play because I'm rubbish at these things sometimes. Oh. It's a good version actually of Kung Fu on the Commodore. I kind of like Kung Fu Master. It's one of the games that I like to play. Unfortunately, and sadly, to most people's dismay, I quite like the Spectrum version, even if it's pretty rubbish. There is a remake, which is apparently very, very good. Get off. No, I'm looking forward to using this more. I'm thinking that, you know, the keyboard's a nice touch, and it definitely feels a positive machine. It's kind of, I think it's more for the Commodore lover. However, you're probably likely to own a Commodore, but the convenience of being able to put it in an HDMI cable instead of finding a TV with a modulator or putting RGB cables in, that could possibly sway you to go to this as a product to play with. I think it sold extremely well. It was out of stock within days of sort of the release date, so it was well and truly sold. I mean, I bought mine about a month before they were due to be released, and I got mine on the release date, which is the 12th. There we go, first floor completed. There's 5 floors in here. Yeah, I got mine on the release day. I was very pleased to get them on release day. I wasn't a backer, so I got it when it was available. Good high score there, look. I hate this next level, it's just weird. It's got like jars dropping from the ceiling. And we'll jump over little baby dragons that go along the floor. Or baby snakes, aren't they? Snakes. And they got little teeny dudes. Weird floor, this one. Got him, and then died. Promptly died. It's kind of good because he kind of sat there while the other guys were coming in behind me. That was kind of cool. Anyway, so that one, that's really good. It works really well. I haven't tried any. I haven't tried any VIC-20 games yet, but I will do. Let's see now. I've got to find the Death, Planet Death, isn't it? Planet Death. Planet of Death by Arctic Software. Right, let's do this one. The joystick is absolute joy, by the way. But I have to put the joystick away now. I'm on a mountain plateau to the north. There is a steep cliff. Let's get flint. That feels good, that actually. I for inventory. Yep. Let's go down. There's a tree with a hanging rope. I didn't read the instructions there, but I've looked at it previously. We're trying to find a spacecraft to get off the Planet of Death, basically. Cut with flint. Rope. Okay, south? No, let's go up. Said there's a steep cliff. Climb cliff with rope. Use rope on. The keyboard's absolutely fine. It functions quite nicely. I quite like the feel of it. I'm just doing the quick. Over a lazy dog. It won't let me type all that, and I can't do the line. Lazy dog. There we go. Can't do smiley faces. LZ's different understand. Ugh. Yeah. L to look. Look. Oh. Can't look. That's a really weird one that you can't do that command. Anyway, let's go. Can we go north? South? East? Ah! I'm in a damp limestone cave with stalactites hanging down. Exits are west. There appears to be a passage to the north. There's a drawing on the wall. Examine drawing. It shows a man climbing down a pit using a rope. Alright, okay. Passage to the north. I'm in a maze. There are passages going everywhere. South. Oh no. North. Oh no. I'm lost. I'm lost in space forever. That's really good, actually. I'm really impressed by that. I have to admit, I'm pleasantly surprised by the outcome of this. This is what the Vega should have done. The Vega should have been possibly a joystick and probably effectively initially a rubber key keyboard, you know, with the basics there, you know, and a few buttons on it, and they should have done a full rubber key keyboard, I think, and not a toast rack. I think they should have done a rubber key, because if you ask me, that's more iconic than the other one, and that's what they should have been done as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, no, the 64, the full keyboard one. Yeah, I think that's a worthy addition to anybody's collection, and also it looks really good and it plays really well. And this micro-switch joystick, oh my god, have I told you how good it is? Oh, it feels good. Listen, oh yeah, that's so good. Anyway, I've been your host, Real Generic Demon. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye bye now.